Listen, the round letter game of soccer. Wednesdays, just football. The sound of the whistle. Let the action begin.
And so we're ready to rock and roll this Super Wednesday afternoon right here in the city of Ibadan. It is Just Football on Joe Integrity Dial, Splash 105.5 FM. Welcome on board the show. You know what we do on this show every Wednesday. It's all about football. We take a trip around the world of football, on the pitch and off the pitch and everything in between. And that's where we get talking right here on Just Football. Of course, the international break is right upon us, and many of the stories you'll be seeing happenings from inside of the camps of all of these national teams as they get prepared. I think this is the final international break before the World Cup. A very, very unusual World Cup, it would seem, because we never get to have the World Cup November, December. But of course, this is where we are as regards, the calendar year in football. Welcome aboard to Just Football. My name is Blessing Fowowe, and my friends are here with me. Ayobami and Animasahun, these celebrities here, and Daniel Mayok is also making a return. Daniel, it's great to see you. Welcome.
Good afternoon. It's good to be here. Good afternoon to the listeners.
Okay, and the celebrity, what's good?
I'm fabulous. Good afternoon to you, Blessing. Good afternoon to Daniel. Good afternoon to our listeners. The round of the game of soccer keeps the world go round. That's what they say, yeah? So I'm so elated that we are actually here to talk about all of that and so much more.
Okay, well, we're going to be starting with this issue around Kylian Mbappe. We took a bite on it yesterday on Sports Bank. Yes, just a little bite, not something in depth. But there's a bit of development as regards that case, and I wanted us to talk about that a bit today and get your insight into player power. And at what point players have all of the power in their hands, and they get to decide what happens with their club size, the national teams. And I just want to talk about the updates as regards that here. And a senior executive of a fast food chain in France says that they may take legal action over forward Kylian Mbappe's refusal to take part in some of the French national team's sponsorship commitments. Now, Alain Berriot, the vice president of the fast food chain in France, speaking to newsmen, said that they were considering legal action, although they did not specify whether this would be against Mbappe, the player, or the French Football Federation, as the case may be. In their words, we have paid for something clear. If necessary, we will assert our rights. Mbappe had refused to participate in team photo shoot and sponsor activities scheduled for Tuesday, as he did not want to endorse some brands, including fast food chains and betting companies that have contracts with the national team. And Mbappe, remember, I said in a statement, I decided not to not take part in the photo shoot after the French Football Federation's refusal to change the image right agreements with the players. And afterwards, the Federation said they had a meeting with Mbappe and the captain of the side and some other senior figure amongst the players, and they reviewed the image rights agreements between the Federation and the player. And in fact, the panic was so intense that they had an emergency meeting with Legret. There was also Mbappe, there was Raphael Varane, there was Hugo Lloris, there was Deschamps as well. It was also called in for that meeting, and an agreement will be reviewed and modified to give the players more leverage and compensation. That is ahead of their Nations League campaign tomorrow, and throughout this international break. But here's what I'm coming to, Daniel. Tell me, is commercial endorsement the reason footballers are in the position that they are at the moment?
It's neither here or there. But in case of Kylian Mbappe, I think it's the major problem started when the transfer saga between Real Madrid and Paris Saint-Germain. Remember, the president of France, involved himself by asking him to stay put, and that alone would change. I mean, Mbappe is barely. I don't think he's up to 23 years of age. Imagine Imagine Buhari calling, the smallest among the Super Eagles player and telling him, "I don't want you to go to another club. Stay put where you are." That alone. That's where the problem starts. And don't forget, this young lad earned almost €1 million every week in PSG. He has the image rights 100% intact. There was no sharing formula there. And I mean, with all this around him, if it's not properly managed, and this might just affect not just the national team, even at PSG, might affect even himself, his football career, and that tells a lot what he's going through.
I didn't even think of it from the direction where Daniel has taken us this afternoon about the French football president, having a say on him deciding to remain in Paris Saint-Germain. But is there a right or wrong in this situation, Iwai?
right or wrong for the federation or for the player?
No, not even the
president-
federation.
not the federation,
The president of the country, Emmanuel Macron. Yes.
But the question here is there a right or wrong? If you decide to look at it from whatever perspective, from the player's perspective, from the coach's, the federation's perspective, from the perspective of the sponsors.
I will start with the perspective. I mean, the easiest of them. To start with the perspective of the sponsors, and I don't think they can ever be wrong. They are always right because there's a reason they want to actually associate their own brand with the French football national team, or say, for instance, with a particular club. It's because they want utmost visibility for their particular brand. They want to actually have that activation in such a way that it would maybe directly or indirectly translate to more sales, to their own, revenue, to help them generate more revenue, but ultimately also in terms of brand visibility, ultimately. So they can never be wrong. They must have signed that particular MOU or that agreement or that partnership with the French Football Federation because they want the best of the best from that particular national team to associate themselves with their brand. And if Mbappe, who by matter of large margin is trying to dissociate himself, from this particular brand, then that means there is no value for their what's it called? For their ROI. What's ROI again? Return on investment. Yes, there's no value for the investment, in this particular case. So I think there can never be a wrong, for the brand.
And the part of the brand.
Exactly.
Now,
from the
federation.
Yes, I think there is always going to be a very tiny line that really dictates or dissociates or differentiates rather, the half of being right and the half of being wrong. And if anyone is not careful, especially in this case, maybe the federation president or even Macron last, Daniel said, they might easily cross over to the wrong side. And that's exactly why I think they probably have set that bad precedent. You need to actually understand the fact that a player has his career and he wants to pursue almost everything for it. But the moment you start showing him all those good sides, all those, utmost intent from you to actually have him stay with you, associate with you, then you are giving him that power. That's exactly where the player power comes into play. It has always been in existence for years. It's just unfortunate that now it is becoming, a bit more pronounced and particularly more influenced by money. Gone are the days when player power was actually achieved or attained based on your longevity.
Longevity, yes.
Yeah, with that particular club or with that particular national team, such that the amount of time you spent with them has made you become so-called senior member of the squad. It happened with the Super Eagles back then. They called them the Cabals. It happened with Chelsea under, was it John Terry and also of others that, came up against was it the coach or who, back then. So I think those were the days when money was not particularly the interest or the influencing factor. But here, it is about money. And this is a new age of football whereby money is such a significant factor. I mean, it's so quite interesting when you realize that even a youngster that hasn't turned 16, that hasn't even signed a professional contract, is already dreaming of
more money
exactly.
than you. So, he makes more money at the moment.
So it's just ridiculous, and that is why I think the federation, possibly Macron in this case, did not really tread carefully. The moment they cross that borderline, they've already handed the player power, to the player in this context, and that's Mbappe. So I think they've set that bad precedence. They've given him okay, for instance, how would you feel when you give the key to your Lamborghini to a 7-year-old boy? Think about what he can actually do with it.
Power.
That's essentially what it means. I'm not saying Mbappe is a 7-year, but in this context, I feel his level of exposure, his talent is quite amazing. But then, regardless, there should be a limit to which the kind of power you can actually afford that kind of player.
So, derivatively here, AY, you are saying that that from the perspective of Kylian Mbappe, he's wrong.
Mbappe himself?
Yes.
I wouldn't say that.
I mean, you just talked about handling the keys to your Lamborghini.
He requested for it and you gave it to him. It's all about what he wants for himself. That's why I started with, that analogy of a player who has his own career to pursue. And remember, as at March, May, April this year, in fact, it looked like Mbappe was certainly going to be wearing a Real Madrid jersey come this time, because he had, previously voiced his interest to actually represent Real Madrid. And we also thought that was always going to be the case. For everything you are going to do to deviate or make him not make up that particular dream come through, then there must be a sacrifice. So that's essentially where I think he hasn't done anything wrong for himself. All he wants is just the best. It's a case of making that decision about, should I pursue my dream? Should I pursue my dream, or rather sap whatever is left in terms of financial revenue from this? And I think he has gone for the latter.
And you know that's why I asked Daniel that question, asking if commercial endorsements here now, endorsements are the major reason or the sole reason footballers are in the position that they are at the moment. Commercial endorsements.
In terms of player power?
Guys, look at it this way. Like, you're playing for the national team, for instance, you're making money. The national team is making money from these endorsements, which they get to pay you as well. Yeah. So shouldn't you, in a way, be... what's the word I'm looking for here? Shouldn't you be, in a way, have some level of reverence to that? That's why I'm asking if endorsement is the sole reason footballers are in the position that they are at the moment. Like, is that the sole reason they have the kind of power that they have to make this decisions, quote and unquote?
Honestly, I don't think so. I mean, the guy in question, Kylian Mbappe, like I make references to, the whole saga, this is giving huge power. And I wouldn't blame the FA or even the sponsor. I wouldn't blame them. But to some extent, I would blame Kylian Mbappe. I mean, we've seen players in that situation, which, they've managed the situation by themselves, and it doesn't get out of hands. But because I'm looking at it, could it be because of, the huge amount of money involved? And again, the lad himself, consider the fact, just like I make mention of, it's a very key point. The president of a country calling you at 22 years of age.
It means you have done something. You have done something around the president calling you.
Yes. And it's
and was an important piece of that.
And it's as a result of PSG being desperate. Whatever it takes, let's do it.
No, it's not even for PSG. It's also for French.
I'm even referring to the transfer saga between Madrid and and that reflects also in the French national team as well too. It now becomes the alpha and omega of that team. That whereby you see ego, robbing each other at the national team, even at in Paris Saint-Germain too. You could see the case of Neymar, him not.
Okay. To answer your question about players not making reference, exactly. I think the analogy is about you not biting the finger that feeds you, because essentially, we all remember Mbappe at that tender age of, was he 17 when he burst into limelight, when he was playing for AS Monaco. I think barely a few months later he made his debut, for the Le Bleu of France, and ever since then it has been somewhat a meteoric rise in his profile. But you cannot take away the influence of, the French national team as well, for what they have actually helped him to achieve as a footballer. And essentially, I think in that context, you cannot, for the sake of that, decide to turn your back against such a national team. I understand he has so much power. He wields so much power now. That is something you don't find. Even the Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo of this world.
Are you sure Messi didn't have such power?
Of course he did. That's what I'm going to.
Because I think he did.
Even when they did. That's what I'm going to. I say even the Lionel Messi and Ronaldo of this world, when they add something similar to this, it didn't get Messi.
Are you sure?
But not at this age. At this age where Messi already won the Ballon d'Or and won Footballer of the Year.
He
couldn't have this much.
He didn't win the World Cup. And he didn't win the MVP award.
Yet, but it was a small god in Barcelona. And at this age,
for what Mbappe is doing and for what he has achieved, accumulate everything together. Perhaps they don't measure up to about 2 or 3 seasons of Messi's dominance.
Okay, so what player power? So player power, so what? Are you saying Mbappe has not earned the stripe to be able to make these calls?
Of course he has. Don't get me wrong. Listen, he has. And that's what I'm saying. For me, he hasn't done anything wrong. But I think for the sake of you being, of course, for that word reverence, to the fingers that's actually been feeding you for a long time, for you to also ensure that you still have that affiliation to the people of France, for you to ensure that you don't have any form of trying to burn the bridge or trying to create any form of rancor between yourself and the French national team. I think it's just expedient that it lets common sense rule here, because Mbappe in the last 3 months, 4 months has turned into an entirely different personality from what we've known before. I saw that clip of the game at Paris Saint-Germain when there was an attack and the ball wasn't passed to him, and suddenly he turned his back against the order of play. And I was wondering, listen, that was supposed to be an attack. Regardless of whether the ball was passed to you or not, make sure you finish the attack. Who knows? You might even turn out to be the eventual goal scorer. But he turned his back, and remember there was also a situation where I think a penalty incident between him and Neymar and all that. Yeah. Those were for me, issues I feel another player, even with that amount of power, would have handled better. And that's why I was making reference to Messi and Ronaldo when they've had this kind of, similar amounts of power, within their grasp. I'm not sure we've ever had it this messy with them. That's the point I'm making, because there is a level of exposure, there is a level of common sense, there is a level of experience that really adds up to make sure that a player composes himself under this kind of spotlight. I'm not sure Mbappe has been able to justify that yet, and this is just yet another update on that particular conversation. It's really quite comical, but then it's something that I think maybe going back now in terms of hindsight, maybe Macron, maybe French Football Federation, maybe Paris Saint-Germain, maybe not Paris Saint-Germain really, but I'm talking about French national team, Macron. I think they'll probably be feeling they've taken it too far.
We need to go on a break, but I'm going to go on a break by asking this question now. I'm putting myself in the place of a brand personality or a brand manager, or I'm trying to get sponsorship value from maybe a national team, for instance. Or no, first off, I'm trying to get sponsorship value with maybe a Kylian Mbappe. I cannot get to him directly. I know he might. I don't know. I'm thinking, and then I decide to go with the national team, knowing that I can still get images from him with the national team. So, which would you pick as a brand manager, as a brand person? Are you going to go with national team or go directly to the player? Knowing that if you go with national team, you will get not just him, many other players, who are superstars.
But there's going to be a limitation to that. The French national team, that brand will only be exposed to just the people of France.
The entity, yes.
Exactly. But if you're talking about Mbappe, you're talking about global audience.
Let's go on a break. Let's go on a break. Well, we'd like to know what you think about this discussion. I mean, with Kylian Mbappe, is this saying that is bigger than the country? Should our country's football federations be bending to the wheels of these players? 080-9155-1055, 080-5699-8678, 0706-949-3000. We'll be right back after this break.
Hello, kiddies!
Yes, Mr. Kappa-san.
The break is over and it's time to get back to school. That's right! This time, going back to school will be even more fun! With Capri-Sun, you get free pencils, erasers, sharpeners, and more in our free EduKit in every carton of Capri-Sun.
Get the exciting free Capri-Sun EduKit when you buy a carton of Capri-Sun. T's and C's apply. Capri-Sun, the taste of fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, stand up. W Entertainment present Fowowe's live experience. Date 25th September 2022. Venue Manhattan Hall, LA Road, Jericho, Ibadan. Red carpet starts 3 p.m. Special performances by Primo, Gabriel Afolayan, Dresses, and many more. Comedian and host Bash. Tickets Platinum Table 1 million naira. Gold Table 500,000 naira. VIP 50,000 naira. Regular 5,000 naira. For inquiries, please call 0913-0141-511, 0803-6464-067. Tickets available at vendors near you. Tickets online at Fowowe.com. This event is proudly powered by Goldberg. Proudly supported by Manhattan Hall, Fan for Roll, Soundtrack, and Cruiser Lounge. Fowowe's live experience is about to be lit.
Àwọn ọmọ mi máa ń yà mí lẹ́nu ní ṣá. Àdùn ní kì í jẹ́ kí 3 crowns milk tí mo fẹ́ràn jù hàn mi. Gbogbo ìgbà ni Yínká máa ń raṣọ ìgbàlódé fún mi. Tó ń dé ń tiẹ̀. Kì í jẹ́ kówó ìsàpòrò mi sé lóṣooṣù. Torí ẹ̀ mi ń ṣaláì lóhunkóhun. Wọ́n tiẹ̀ ti ń gba lérò pàápàá láti mú mi lọ sí Dubai láìpẹ́. Kí n lè fojú mi kòrókòró rí Búrùjí Khalifa àtàwọn ibi mèremère mi.
Ó yá o, àǹfààní tiẹ̀ náà rèé láti jẹ̀bùn ìrìn àjò lọ sí Dubai fún màmá rẹ̀. Ra àwọn ọjà 3 crowns tó tó ẹlẹ́gbẹ̀rún 2 náírà. Kọ̀wé láti dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ màmá rẹ̀. Fi ránṣẹ́ lórí ayélujára www.3crowns.com.ng. Màmá rẹ̀ lè jẹ́ ọ̀kan lára àwọn tí yóò fi ìrìn àjò sílùú Dubai ṣèfàjẹ́. Ìpolongo yìí ní ìlànà àti òfin o. 3 crowns milk. Ìlera àwọn màmá, ayọ̀ ẹbí.
And we are back.
It's Dangote Bag of Goodies Season 3. Yes, spell Dangote and become a multi-millionaire. Category 1, pick up the scratch card in bags of Dangote cement and win instantly. Category 2, pick up the scratch cards in bags of Dangote cement to spell DANGOTE and qualify to win ₦1,000,000 star prize. Category 3, pick up the scratch cards in bags of Dangote cement to spell DANGOTE and qualify to win ₦5,000,000 mega star prize. When you pick an alphabet, then Eagle. One of the alphabets must carry the Dangote Eagle logo for you to win the mega star prize. Offer runs from 5th July to 31st October 2022. Terms and conditions apply.
Dọkịnta, ya bụ na onweghị ihe ọjọọ nwunye Edu Ugomma tinye n'ofe egusi ahụ mere afọ jisa ya.
Igwe mbanụ nyocha anyị mere gosipụtara na onweghị ihe ọbụla mere ndị ọzọ riri ya bụ ofe egusi nwunye Edu Ugomma siri.
Ya bụ ofe egusi tọrọ mpisis.
Dọkịnta, ọ kwuru ihe a mere mgbe mụ na ezinụlọ m ji gba ọgwụ mgbochi COVID-19. Ụfọdụ nwere arụ ọkụ na isi ọwụwa, mana ụfọdụ enweghị ihe ọbụla mee ha.
Igwe etu ahụ mmadụ si anabata ya bụ ọgwụ mgbochi COVID-19 dị n'iche n'iche, mana ihe ndị a abụghị nsogbu ọbụla. O nwekwara ọtụtụ ndị ọ naghị eme ihe ọbụla n'ahụ. Ọgwụ mgbochi COVID-19 dị ire, dịkwa ezigbo mma n'ahụ iji chekwaba mmadụ site n'ọrịa COVID-19.
Ugomma, ịnụghị ya ndị be anyị, o nwere onye ga-eji maka obere arụ mgbe ị pụrụ inweta mgbe ị gbara ọgwụ mgbochi COVID-19 wee rapụ ije gbaa ọgwụ mgbochi nke ya.
Chekwaba onwe gị, ezinụlọ gị yana ndị agbata obi gị site n'aka ọrịa COVID-19. Jee gbaa ọgwụ mgbochi ọrịa nke gị.
Ọkwa maka ịhụnanya.
Ọkwa maka ịhụnanya.
Ọkwa maka ịhụnanya.
Make you show yourself, no they hide your face. Show up in the boot style, ooh in the boot style. Cause you get to the ginger, almost too much swagger. You they give a good vibration. Anywhere you go, you show the colors of your.
Ládùn gbogbo àṣàyàn mímu aládùn bold tó wà ní aládùn ginger, olómi ọsàn, tropical àti bitter lemon. Unleash your bold, show your colors.
Wọ́n ní ìlera lọ́rọ̀, ṣùgbọ́n tí àti ní ìlera pípé bá fẹ́ pani lára, ó di dandan káwọn èèyàn kígbe ohùn rárá. Yéèpà! Tàbí nígbà tó wà nílé ìwòsàn, tán wá ní àfi dandan kó o sàsan sílẹ̀ owó gọbọyì kó o tó lè gbà wòsàn. Yéèpà! Tàbí lẹ́yìn tó o gbọ́ yìí tó yẹ kó o san, kì í ṣe pé ó lè fà ẹ́ lápò ya nìkan, àmọ́ ó lè pa ẹ́ lára. Yéèpà!
Ṣùgbọ́n ajá rẹ tó lẹ́ni lẹ́yìn yóò pọ̀ bọ̀ pẹ̀lú àtìlẹ́yìn àwọn alámòójútó ọ̀rọ̀ ìlera Avon HMO kò ní sọ̀rọ̀ wípé òun pariwo yéèpà torí pé níkẹyìn gbogbo wa la nílò ara wa. Kàn sí avonhealthcare.com báyìí láti ní ètò ìlera Avon kan fún ìwọ àti àwọn èèyàn rẹ. Avon HMO fún ìrónilágbára láti gbé ìgbé ayé tó kún bámú fún àlàáfíà.
Ọmọlúwàbí, we see your hard work and this is for you. We celebrate you. You are doing well. Omoluabi, respect.
Tóyọ̀, ǹjẹ́ o ti gbọ́?
Pé kí ni o bá dérò?
Pé ṣé ìgbóhùnsáfẹ́fẹ́ ti gbọ̀nà àrà yọ?
Jọ̀ọ́jà mi sì kí n rí gbọ́.
Jẹ́njà ẹ̀tàn àǹfààní àìlẹ́gbẹ́ ni Splash FM Media Academy gbé kalẹ̀ fún gbogbo olùgbé ìlú Ìbàdàn àti agbègbè rẹ̀. Ìlò tí ìgbọ́ láti di akọ́ṣẹ́mọṣẹ́ oníròyìn tó perégedé ní ìbámu pẹ̀lú ìlànà ìgbóhùnsáfẹ́fẹ́ òde òní yálà lórí rédíò tàbí ayélujára. Àwọn akọ́ṣẹ́mọṣẹ́ olùkọ́ni tí wọ́n mọ̀ ti fún tẹ̀dọ̀ iṣẹ́ ìgbóhùnsáfẹ́fẹ́ wà níkàlẹ̀ láti tọ́ ọ sọ́nà tí ó tọ́ lórí onírúurú ẹ̀kọ́ bíi program development, journalism, digital media, production, news presentations. Wo mélòó ni mo fẹ́ kà? OPG ó pọ̀ gan-an.
Mo rí ọ̀nà.
Tóyọ̀, ibo ló ń sáré lọ?
Àròjọ́ Mùsùlùkùn mò ń lọ ṣe ìforúkọsílẹ̀ tèmi nìyẹn.
Tó bá rí bẹ́ẹ̀, lọ sí Splash FM Media Academy tí ó fẹ́ gbẹ́kẹ̀gbẹ́ pẹ̀lú Splash 105.5 FM ilé funfun báláwú fẹ́lẹ́lẹ̀ nílẹ̀ Ìbàdàn láti gba fọ́ọ̀mù tirẹ̀ tàbí kí o pe ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ yìí 07054393332. Splash FM Media Academy, ìdáàbòbò ìwà ọmọlúwàbí nínú ètò ìgbóhùnsáfẹ́fẹ́.
Milo! When the world looks at my child, they just see an energetic 8-year-old. But I see more. My Lucy is going to become captain of our school volleyball team, keep excelling in class, and do great things one day. I see a champion. So when I give her Milo with her breakfast every day, it's all part of waking up that champion in her.
Don't just wake up your child, wake up the champion in her. Let Milo Active Go and the natural goodness of malt, milk, and cocoa help wake up the champion in your child every day. Milo, energy to go further.
Your pikin don land. Hello. No dull. Give your pikin breast milk sharp inside 1 hour where you born am. Make it take drink that first yellow milk where then they call colostrum. That first yellow milk colostrum gets everything where your pikin need. Plus say go protect your pikin against yamayama disease. No forget give your pikin breast inside the first 1 hour when you born am. This message now from ARIM Project, Federal Ministry of Health.
Wẹ́yinjú mi méjèèjì dáadáa, wàá rí bó ṣe ṣe pàtàkì sí mi tó. Wo inú ọkàn rẹ̀, níbẹ̀ ni mo jókòó sí. Níwọ̀n bá àgbà tó ti rí mi nínú ọkà àyà rẹ̀, o ò nílò àti wo ohunkóhun kiri mọ́ o.
Nígbà tèmi náà kọ́kọ́ fojú kàn ẹ́, ni mo ti rí ìfẹ́. Nígbà tó jàjà fọwọ́ kàn mí, nífẹ̀ẹ́ rẹ ti bò mí mọ́lẹ̀.
Kòkòrò ìfẹ́ mi níbo ló wà o.
Alẹ́ olólùfẹ́. Ètò tó lápẹ́já táwọn èèyàn ń jẹ̀gbáládùn rẹ̀ ní gbogbo alẹ́ ọjọ́bọ̀ Thursday látàgọ́ 10 àbọ̀ àṣálẹ́ ṣáàgó kan òru 10:30 p.m. to 1 a.m. ní Splash FM 105.5. Àwọn orin àdídùn, ọ̀rọ̀ ìṣítí nípa ìfẹ́ àti ìlàkọjá àwọn olólùfẹ́ ló sodo sí alẹ́ olólùfẹ́.
Olólùfẹ́ wojú mi sọ fún mi.
Orí ètò yìí la ti ń so olólùfẹ́ méjì pọ̀ lábala wọkọ̀wáyà. Àwọn olólùfẹ́ àtàwọn tó ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ fẹ́ ní ìrírí ìfẹ́ kò kí ń fi ètò yìí ṣeré. Torí àǹfààní àti mú orin àdídùn láti fi ìfẹ́ hàn sí olólùfẹ́ ní wà ní sẹpẹ́. Alẹ́ olólùfẹ́. Ẹ já darapọ̀ mọ́ Olúwagbémiga Adégòkè, arákùnrin Gòkè, àfìdúkọ̀nà ìfẹ́ lọ́jọ́bọ̀ Thursday ọ̀sẹ̀ yìí látàgọ́ 10 àbọ̀ àṣálẹ́ 10:30 p.m. ní ìkànnì Splash FM 105.5. Alẹ́ olólùfẹ́ kò ṣeé má gbọ́ ni.
Ọwọ́ mi rè fà mí dání.
A woman impacts the world around her, and we understand her importance. That is why Women Matters is here again, and it's bigger and better. Women Matters. Tune in and listen to Women Matters on this station, Splash 105.5 FM, on Thursdays by 10 a.m. Women Matters is proudly sponsored by FC Wamco, makers of 3 Crowns Milk. Women Matters. If it matters to women, it matters to all.
Okay, thank you for keeping logs right here on Splash 105.5 FM. It is still Josh Subo with the crew here today. We've taken our time to talk about this situation brewing with Kylian Mbappe and the French Football Federation. And, the sponsors who are saying they might have to go take legal steps against... it's not clear if it's against the player or against the Federation. And we're asking this afternoon if the nations, if the Football Federation should be bending to the wheels of this player. Remember, they already agreed that they will review. There's an agreement that will be reviewed and modified and then given to the players for more, to give the players more leverage and compensation from all of this. I wish we can relate to things like this in Nigeria. But yes, we can. Yeah. Very well.
We have brands.
I'm not saying we don't have brands.
Yeah,
I'm not saying we don't have brands.
So what are you now saying?
Don't worry, let's move on. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, the number is to call 08091551055, 08056998678, 0706949300. Is Mbappe saying he's bigger than the country by not participating in that photo shoot, and should football federations be bending to the wheels of the players? Okay, let's move on the show, guys. Cristiano Ronaldo says he wants to continue his international career and is eyeing Euro 2024. For those of you who are saying maybe the World Cup this year will be the end of the road for him, he says the road is not yet over. In his words, he was receiving an award for becoming yesterday for becoming highest men's international goal scorer in September with 109 goals. He said, and I quote, "I'm proud to receive an award of this magnitude. I never thought that one day I could achieve it. I thank everyone who was important in my career. It has been a long road, but I would like to say that my road is not yet over. You're going to have to take a little more road from Chris." Daniel, how much more does he have inside of him? He's 34, if I'm not mistaken.
37.
37. Okay, sorry, I'm cutting his age.
Probably it's Messi you want to mention.
34-year-old Ronaldo will be banking in goals, guys.
Wait, 37?
Yes.
We are in what? 2022? He wants to play with 2024?
By then he'll be 39.
I mean, Margini played to 40. So
I think
he can't.
I think he can still play to 40, 41. Zlatan will be 40, 41.
But with the kind of season he's been having at Manchester United,
I think it depends on Manchester United anyway. I think he needs to go to a club that would, suit his kind of play. That would take him the alpha and the omega, unlike Manchester United. Because without him, to be fair with Manchester United, they've won matches, and the ones he has played this season, they haven't won any. I mean, in the Premiership. So they tend to believe we can do without him. But still, back to his age you just talked about, I think Cristiano Ronaldo, if Zlatan can do it, he's still 41 next year. If he can do it at the highest, stage. He just won the Serie A last season with AC Milan after season of without winning this the trophy. So Ronaldo, I believe he can even get up to 42.
And I'm even surprised that he's not getting injured and staying out of the sidelines.
Unlike Zlatan, who is out of the season till next year.
He has injury issues here and
he
there.
Hasn't.
Absolutely true. I think that's down to body. The body system. Even we have younger players. Dakusha retired at the age of 30. So it's essentially just about your body system, really. It's maybe not too largely dependent on the age factor, and that's essentially why I think Ronaldo has been able to stay this long. Anyways, we all remember that documentary of his that we saw about a decade ago when he was subjected to several things, and you understand, what's made Ronaldo who he is at the moment. So I'm not surprised that he's not really suffering from injury at the moment. But I think you can understand that his gameplay, his performances are dropping. It's one thing for you to have it in your mind that you still want to go to 41, 42, actively playing football. But it's another thing for your body to agree with you, because sometimes you think something in your head, but often a time your body doesn't agree.
I mean, we see the legends retiring. I mean, you got Roger Federer retiring, and the whole
Serena Williams as well.
Tom Brady having to. I mean, you retired, unretired, but somehow.
But I think
his performances are dropping. I don't want to really attribute that to the fact that, yes, he has been subjected to fewer game time this season. But I think it's also a factor of his body not really agreeing with his style of play anymore. I saw Ronaldo making a run. He came off the bench. I think it was against Arsenal. He came off the bench. He was given a chance one-on-one late in the game, and the defender was still able to catch up with Ronaldo and save the day for Arsenal. I mean, that is really a clear factor that Ronaldo is declining, not in terms of influence, but essentially in terms of his attributes, speed, and all sorts. But I mean, maybe it's just about another way for him to still develop his game. We all know Ronaldo back in the 2003-2004 to be a dribbler, a winger. He developed his game to become more of a goal scorer. So now it's going to be another quest for him to develop his game to be not just a goal scorer, but a highly efficient and effective one, so that he doesn't need to make those darts, those runs anymore. Wherever you are, relying on your position and, of course, your instinct, he can still get to actually, be as lethal as he used to be. So I think I'm really keen to see how well he can now develop his game to suit the requirements of his body right now.
But I do believe as well, this same Ronaldo can still give, in all competition, can still give you 20 to 23 goals, right? Depending on, just like you said, it's age is factor getting into him. It's not the same Ronaldo who seems to know him then. But however, if you find a team, all right, who can play to his ability, do you understand? Unlike
maybe if he goes to a weaker league,
go to a team whereby they believe in you, they could play to your strengths. That's all that you just need. And the goals will still be coming in. I still believe it still has up to 20, 25 goals in a season. And if a Ronaldo of 37, 38 could give you that, it's still a top notch.
But how far can Portugal go at the World Cup, for instance, relying on a 37-year-old Ronaldo?
I do believe Santos do believe in him. Yes, he do believe in him. Now, when they are playing the lesser team, it could probably okay, fine, you need to rest him. But when it comes to the bigger boys, go check. The last Euro, he played virtually all the big matches, even the small matches too. He was there. So the coach relied on him most.
Maybe in the group stage.
No. If you're not playing against the quote-unquote lesser teams and making your mark known, who says you're going to make your mark known against the big teams?
One thing I even feel is Ronaldo, for a fact, would not want to even be benched at the World Cup.
At all.
Because I'm quite sure he has his eyes set on the target, possibly to actually beat Miroslav Klose as the all-time highest goal scorer in the history of the World Cup. Has always been his dream, and possibly one of the few things that still keeps him active till this particular moment. So I feel he wouldn't want to be benched. And if that's the case, then, like Daniel said, maybe Portugal or any team he finds himself would really need to actually start suiting their own style of play to Ronaldo in a bid to actually get the best, out of it. But not too many teams can actually, bend to that kind of style of play. When you are up against really tough opponents, and you're still trying to suit your star man, I mean, you might really find yourself second fiddle. In terms of exactly. So it's not really something I think is going to be in for a long run. I think there will be a time when Santos, Ronaldo, and the whole Portuguese national team will need to actually see that and understand this is the new face of football for this country, and Ronaldo is not going to be the center of it.
You have to agree to not be the center of it. Okay, so Ronaldo was included in Portugal's latest squad for the upcoming Nations League against Czech Republic and Spain. Of course, he was thrilled to add another award to his collection as he got a standing ovation right there yesterday. And still talking international football, remember it's all international break now, and in the camp of the Germans, both Manuel Neuer and Leon Goretzka attended the Oktoberfest festival in Munich at the weekend, and they have trained with Germany this week. They have also tested positive for COVID-19. That means that they are leaving the camp.
Blessing, have you seen pictures from the Oktoberfest festival before?
No, I think I am.
So that's why I'm not surprised they tested positive.
I mean, it's always crowded. Yes, I have.
What's the sense in that? When
it's always very crowded.
An international break coming up.
I mean, you could be thinking COVID is we are vaccinated
and all that.
That's what we always say. Vaccinated or not, when you are in a crowded place, always ensure to use your face masks and get all protections necessary. But now they have both contracted the COVID virus, and it means that they are out of the games. They have left the camp, and so they've been ruled out of the games against Hungary and England after testing positive for the virus there. So that's the update from the camp of the Germans. And Anthony Rudiger, guys, says that he's hailing Ancelotti's man management skills. It says on arrival in Spain at their new house, they hadn't even settled in fully, and then they had a knock at the door, and guess what? It was Ancelotti, who just came over and was just, broke bread with them, ate with them, and just wanted to welcome them home, basically. Like, welcome to Madrid, welcome to Spain, and all of that. And I'm wondering, is that one of the attributes that stands Ancelotti out? Is that one of the things that has helped him with the success that he recorded with Real Madrid on his return?
I think so. I mean, remember, he's not the type who talks so much. He does his things behind the scene, and even on the pitch, he doesn't talk too much. Maybe because of that, much attribute is not given to this man. He has won numerous of Champions League in different clubs. The five major leagues in Europe, he has won the league there. And coming back to Real Madrid, he has been so. Remember last season here, I was the one emphatically talking about a lot of cracks in that Real Madrid team. And this man has come in, brought in, preparing ahead of the future. Modric is 37. He knew he needed a replacement. Tony Kroos as well too. Is 33 years of age to 34. He needed a replacement, and he brought Camavinga. Firstly, then the next the young lad too, Chomani. And you could see Chomani has been more or less the last 6-7 matches they've played, almost starts most of those matches, whereby you see Modric on the bench or either Kroos on the bench. So this man is planning ahead, and I think enough kudos is not given to him. Unlike the names of the Jurgen Klopp, the Pep Guardiola would do, we're not giving enough, accolade to this man who have done and won everything in club football.
You see, just to add to that, we understand there is a room for, as a manager though, there is a room for you being tactical. There's also another room for you to be a man manager. Only few managers can adequately combine both roles and still succeed at their job. That's one thing that most people do not know. In fact, there are some managers that their man management is quite awesome, and that is why, players are still, finding it quite easy to play, for them. Not necessarily because they are very, good tactically. I'm not saying they are not good, but they are not particularly outstanding tactically. But because they have a very good man management skill, they are still able to coordinate the squad they have with their, level of tactical acumen, still getting the best out of the squad. I won't mention a particular name, and you know what I'm talking about. But there are so many other managers who actually have...
I was just about to throw you under the bus.
There are so other managers who actually have a very good tactical acumen, but then their man management is quite terrible. There was a time Jose Mourinho was quite faulty at that as well. But I think somehow he's trying to retrace his steps, because those were key things that really helped him in his first few years at Chelsea. His tactical acumen and his man management skill. But you look at Ancelotti, I put it to you, not too many managers actually have that luxury to manage Real Madrid twice in their career. And for him to have come back to eventually still pick up from where past he left it, and now the team is still looking so good, I think it says a lot about not just his tactical acumen, but ultimately his man management skill as well, which is of course being said about right now by.
But before we go on a break, speaking of man management skills, what other managers stands up there with Ancelotti?
I think Jurgen Klopp.
Yes.
I think Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah. I think so too.
I think he has.
I'm not talking active managers now. I mean both active and retired. Fine, I understand. I like active manager Jurgen Klopp.
Marcelo Lippi. Yes. Man management and tactically, he never has. Throughout his club career, he never had any issues.
Funny enough, I was sneaking Arsene Wenger and Sir Alex Ferguson.
I was wondering.
I was sneaking both of them because often a time you find so many players, so many world class players referring to these managers.
Forget that he was throwing kitchen sink at players.
No. You need to listen. As a leader, you need to also have that moment, because when you see that the ship is sinking, you need to be able to start, because if it eventually, if things go awry and the ship eventually sinks, you will be the one to be held responsible. It is your career at stake.
Ask Thomas Tuchel.
Well, you can say that. So essentially, Ferguson needed to do that, and I think he did it very well. They call it the air dry treatment, and you can tell that he influences the performance of the boys even on the field. That is why you have them chasing the game 88 minutes, and they believe they can still do it, because they wouldn't want to go into the dressing room knowing fully well what awaits them. I mean, you shared me the video of Nani. Talking about the weird moment he had with Sir Alex Ferguson.
Let me just go over that story real quick. So Nani was having an interview with Ferdinand where he said, they went to a game, away, I think it was away from home. Was it? No,
an away game.
It was an away game.
So Nani lives very close to Ferguson.
Yes, they are neighbors actually. Yeah. And so they went to an away game. There was a penalty to be played.
No. Start from when Nani drove Ferguson. For the away.
No, that was even after. The driving was after, yes. The driving was after. So they went for an away game. There was a penalty to be played in that game. Who was the first choice penalty then? I can't remember who. I think it was Giggs. So he said he went over to Giggs, collected the ball and said no, he wanted to play the penalty because he was so sure that he would score. And guess what? He blasted the penalty away, and I think they either drew the game or lost the game. So on return, because he's neighbors with the boss says, so who is going my way? Who is going to drop me
Instead of facing Nani to drop him off. Instead of facing
Nani directly and saying, you know what, okay, drop me off, on the way home. And then he said, all through that ride, they were both quiet, they were silent, they didn't say a word to each other, and he was just hoping and praying that he would say something so that, because he didn't know what he was thinking at that point. I mean, just
such an awkward situation.
Awkward, crazy.
So it doesn't take away the fact that Ferguson, for me, was still a very good man manager. Same thing for Arsene Wenger. So many top level footballers, during their, maybe after their career, during their, their biography or whatever it is, always make reference to these two managers. And it's not by mistake, to be honest with you. It is because one way or the other, they have a huge influence in their upbringing, in their career, and you hardly find that around anymore. Now it's just about, I don't want you to use the word mercenaries, but I think it's the best way.
It's the best way to describe it, actually. Let's go on a quick break. We'll return with the BBC Premier League update. We'll be back.
What a decider! What a goal! From the boy wonder!
Mavis, this your son will be a football star. When does he train? What time does he even wake up?
Breakfast time.
Eh?
No. He wakes up earlier, but when I give him Milo with breakfast, that's when I see that the champion in him is awake.
Don't just wake up your child. Wake up the champion in him. Let Milo Active Go and the natural goodness of malts, milk, and cocoa help wake up the champion in your child every day. Milo, energy to go further.
kí mo lè fi mílíọ̀nù kan náírà rà náà o. bóyá rárá kò lè tó ṣùgbọ́n pẹ̀lú 5 tàbí 10.
gbogbo èèyàn ni olúborí pẹ̀lú ìpolongo airtel recharge and blow torí ẹ̀ tẹra mọ́ àlárẹ̀rẹ̀ rẹ ra owó ìpè dójú àmì lọ́sọ̀ọ̀sẹ̀ kó o sì gba àdápadà náírà 8 àti pé 100 mílíọ̀nù náírà ló wà nílẹ̀ láti jẹ lọ́sọ̀ọ̀sẹ̀ tẹ *444*4# láti kópa ìpolongo yìí sì ń lọ lọ́wọ́ báyìí títí di ọjọ́ 21 oṣù kẹwàá ó ní ìlànà àti òfin tó rọ̀ mọ́ o.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
They say she who asks questions cannot lose her way. So answer this for me. Why spend money to send money? Why buy airtime without a discount? Why pay fees to receive cash from abroad? Why can't you stream and shop globally with your card? And yes, Cheaper is available on App Store and Play Store. Why haven't you downloaded it yet? Cheaper, move your money freely.
Wọ́n ní ìlera lọ́rọ̀, ṣùgbọ́n tí àti ní ìlera pípé bá fẹ́ pani lára, ó di dandan káwọn èèyàn kígbe ohùn rárá. Yéèpà! Tàbí nígbà tó wà nílé ìwòsàn, tán wá ní àfi dandan kó o sàsan sílẹ̀ owó gọbọi kó o tó lè gbàwòsàn. Yéèpà! Tàbí lẹ́yìn tó o gbọ́ yìí tó yẹ kó o san, kì í ṣe pé ó lè fà ẹ́ lápò ya nìkan, àmọ́ ó lè pa ẹ́ lára. Yéèpà!
Ṣùgbọ́n ajá rẹ tó lẹ́ni lẹ́yìn yóò pọ̀ bọ̀ pẹ̀lú àtìlẹ́yìn àwọn alámòójútó ọ̀rọ̀ ìlera Avon HMO kò ní sọ̀rọ̀ wípé òun pariwo yéèpà torí pé níkẹyìn gbogbo wa la nílò ara wa kàn sí avonhealthcare.com báyìí láti ní ètò ìlera Avon kan fún ìwọ àti àwọn èèyàn rẹ. Avon HMO fún ìrónilágbára láti gbé ìgbé ayé tó kún bámú fún àlàáfíà.
Soju, how was your trip? The North is a beautiful place. The food, Dembon Shinkafa, was like nothing I've ever tasted before. The flavors were out of this world. The aroma was just like...
Lunch is ready.
What are you cooking? Remy, your Dembon Shinkafa tastes even better. How did you make it?
Women who use Onga seasoning know it's all the seasoning they need for great taste and aroma. So explore and bring great flavors home to delight your loved ones. Onga, Mama's helping hand.
Hello, kiddies!
Yes, Mr. Samson.
The break is over and it's time to get back to school. That's right! This time, going back to school will be even more fun. With Capri-Sun, you get free pencils, erasers, sharpeners, and more in our free Edu-Kit in every carton of Capri-Sun.
Get the exciting free Capri-Sun Edu-Kit when you buy a carton of Capri-Sun. T's and C's apply. Capri-Sun, the taste of fun.
Kí ló ṣe tẹlifíṣàn yìí tóun rẹ̀ ò já geere? Ó tún wá ń wò báibái. Látànà tí náà bá ti ranjú kalẹ̀, fíríjì yóò tún tutù.
Kí ló dènà táwọn èlò tí ń lo nánú yàrá ìwà dẹnu kọlẹ̀? Ọ̀gá, tipátipá ni mo fi rọrùn sùn látàrí ariwo tí jẹnẹrétọ̀ rẹ̀ ń pa. Wàhálà wà fẹ́ni tí ò mọ ibi tí wọ́n ti ń ta ojúlówó ohun èlò tí ń lo náà lẹ́ńtíríkì o.
Solar Telecoms àti Electronic Store jagaban láàrin àwọn tó ń ta ojúlówó fóònù àti electronics pẹ̀lú owó tí ò kájàra lọ lákòókò yìí. Bákan náà ni Solar ta máa fún yín ní ìdá 20% lórí àwọn ẹ̀rọ bíi flat screen TVs, deep freezers, generator, air conditioners, gas cooker àti àwọn ohun èlò yòókù tẹ́ bá rà lọ́wọ́ wọn.
Kí ló ń dúró dè? Kàn sí èyíkéyìí yàrá ìfihàn Solar tó wà ní Ọbáfẹ́mi Awólọ́wọ̀ Way, JLN ní Dùgbẹ̀, Balloon Building, Àbáyọ̀mí Bus Stop, Ìwó Road, Solar Mega Store ní Mọ́kọ́lá àti Challenge ìlú Ìbàdàn. Lọ sí èyíkéyìí tó bá súnmọ́ lónìí kó o rọjú lówó fóònù àti electronics tó gbámúṣé.
Pé Solar Electronics lónìí sórí 0813-539-9886 tàbí 0816-706-6973.
Àjọsọ àti ìlànà ń tẹ̀lé ń bẹ o.
O gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ gbádùn ayé tó dára. Are you in need of a nice and comfortable, fully furnished hostel accommodation in the University of Ibadan? Or are you in search of a place for seminars and executive trainings? Look no further. Adebayo Akonde Hall is the go-to place for your lodging needs with a home away from home feel. Adebayo Akonde Hall is a 4-star hostel built in a serene environment with constant supply of electricity. It has fully furnished rooms that gives you great comfort at an affordable price. Adebayo Akonde Hall is located at Ajibode Extension, University of Ibadan. For inquiries and reservations, visit www.adebayohall.com. or call 080-5699-8718 or 080-5699-8719 or 080-5699-8720. Adebayo Akonde Hall. Built for comfort. Built for you.
Canada needs immigration to massively drive our economy and help fill the huge labor shortages. The government of Canada is determined to attract more than 1.2 million families and individuals to relocate between 2021 and end of 2023. This is unprecedented. The government of Canada will allow only those who will be employable to get the permanent visa. Jonathan King Limited will assist professionals, graduates, and artisans in various fields and trades to go to Canada and prosper. Education in Canada is not just one of the best in the world, it is one of the cheapest. Jonathan King Limited will help students secure full-time graduate and postgraduate admissions to tertiary institutions. Full-time students are allowed to work in Canada. There are also opportunities for scholarships, grants, or at least interest-free loans. Pick up a registration form immediately at Jonathan King Limited, 1st and 6th floors, Cocoa House, Ibadan, and the Bronx Bookshop, former CMS, besides Our Saviour's Cathedral, Ijebu-Ode.
Registration ends 18th of October 2022.
Our bride, you may please sign the marriage certificate.
It's not working. This pen is not working.
Have you ever been in that critical situation where you need to sign that important document, but your pen suddenly stops working? Then you understand the importance of having a reliable ball pen. This is why I love my Beak pen, because it never lets me down in such a serious situation, and it will always work. Be like me. Beak comes in Crystal Original and Beak Crystal Ultra Fine. Get a pen you can rely on. Get Beak.
Hello there. Do you desire to have a work-life balance? Do you want to live the life of your dreams and gain financial freedom at the same time? Big Global Network is offering you the opportunity to join Ibadan weekly meetups for our free training to become a certified real estate marketer, where you will learn international marketing in real estate, how to make money in real estate marketing, how to be the best in real estate marketing, and lot more. Certificate will be issued to every participant after the training. To register for free, simply send your full name and email address to 0702-515-0008. The weekly meetup will be holding every Saturday in September, starting from the 10th of September 2022. Venue and time will be communicated after registration. See you there.
Dangote Cement aláràgbà ìdá tó ti gbára mi dé o ṣẹ̀kẹ̀ndúgbẹ̀. Untitled Chapter Dangote nàbàrà. Ìpele kìíní bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ṣe ra Dangote Cement ni ẹ máa wọnú àpò ká ẹ jẹ̀bùn falafolo. Ìpele kejì láti ṣàkọ́tọ̀ Dangote pẹ̀lú álífábẹ́ẹ̀tì tẹ́ ẹ bá bánú àpò sìmẹ́ǹtì tẹ́ ẹ bá rà kẹ́ ẹ sáré jìfà mílíọ̀nù kan náírà. Ìpele kẹta lolúborí gbogbo ẹ̀ tó gbọ́mọpọ̀n níbi tẹ́ ti ṣàkọ́tọ̀ álífábẹ́ẹ̀tì Dangote ṣùgbọ́n álífábẹ́ẹ̀tì kan ó gbọ́dọ̀ lámì ẹ̀yẹ àṣà Dangote lórí tẹ́ fi jẹ mílíọ̀nù 5 náírà. Bẹ̀rẹ̀ látọjọ́ 5 oṣù keje títí dọjọ́ 21 oṣù kẹwàá ọdún 2022. Àdéhùn àtàsọtẹ́lẹ̀ ń bẹ o. Dangote Cement, kí ó dúró digbí.
Splash FM 105.5.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
Hello, I'm Mike McCarthy at the BBC Sports Centre. Goalkeeper Nick Pope says joining Newcastle United has given him a real boost in his ambitions of playing on the international stage. Pope says he intends to make the most of his chances with England in Nations League games against Italy and Germany. Ahead of the World Cup finals in Qatar later this year, Everton's Jordan Pickford is out injured and on the sidelines.
There's a lot of excitement within myself and within the squad about being 2 games away from a World Cup and kind of fresh into the season, if you like. I think everyone feels kind of sharp, having had a decent amount of games into a season of a good level, and then you look forward to, I've got Italy in the San Siro and then Germany at Wembley. Two great games. So, yeah, I think it's a nice place to be.
Tottenham and England defender Eric Dyer says he feels too uncomfortable for his family to attend away matches and that fan behaviour in football is a serious problem. Dyer received a 4-match ban and a £40,000 fine after a confrontation with a fan in March 2020. Liverpool's Brazilian international Arthur Melo started for his club's under-21 side in an English Football League trophy match, and they were beaten 1-0 away at 4th-tier Rochdale. The 26-year-old was substituted after an hour. And Nottingham Forest have signed a 23rd new player since their promotion to the top flight. Out of contract, 22-year-old goalkeeper Adnan Kanjuric has joined them. He was most recently with Bosnian side FK Sarajevo. And with more football news from the BBC, just go to bbc.com/football.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
Still rocking the IMC. Let's finish.
reaching the final home stretch, the home stretch of Just Football today, Wednesday, the 21st day in the month of September 2021. It's all about the international break, and of course the Super Eagles of Nigeria are not left behind. We have a game coming up against Algeria. That's the Phoenix Foxes of Algeria on the 27th of September. And the head coach of the Super Eagles, Jose Peseiro, is delighted with a chance to link up with his players once again. He went on Twitter to say it feels great to be back with the team. I look forward to a week of hard work and training before the friendly match against Algeria. Let's go, Nigeria. That's what he tweeted there. And 22 players are currently in the team's camp ahead of the doubleheader friendly against Algerians. Peseiro will do battle with Desert Forces home-based team on Friday at the Mohamed Malou Stadium, Constantine, and the West Africans will face the main team at the Maloud Adefi Stadium around next week, Tuesday. I said something off air. We are sparing partners to the teams that are going to the World Cup. Now, that's what happens when you miss your chance to be at the World Cup as well. There are 22 players in camp already. Okoye is in camp, Ekong is in camp, Meruo, Awadziem, Aino, Basi, Sanusi, Akpoguma, Ozonwafo, Ndidi, Onyeka, Iwobi, Onyedika, Simon, Awoni, Ejuke. We have Dressers, we have Murphy, Lukman, Adebayo, Saviour, and Iheanacho. All of these players are in camp, and we're still expecting Francis Uzo and Ebubeduru in camp later today. Guys, if there's one player who should take his chance, that's the final shot, we have to leave now. If there's one player who should take his chance in the absence of some of those big names, especially from the forward lineup, who should that person be? Osimhen is not available, he's injured. So
I would rephrase that. I would say there's a player that should take his chance with this international break, regardless of whether in the absence of anyone or not.
Okay.
It should be Kelechi Iheanacho. I feel he's not doing well enough for Leicester. He's not getting enough playing time. So this might really be a very good opportunity for him to send that signal to Leicester City head coach Brendan Rodgers. The team needs lethal strikers. We saw the game against Tottenham the other day. Patson Daka was really woeful in terms of decision making, even in terms of chances, converted. What's his name? Jimmy Vardy's, not available this one reason or the other. So I feel Iheanacho is pretty much begging for that opportunity. And since he wasn't being afforded that enough playing time right at Leicester, he's got that golden opportunity against Algeria. Say for instance, it banks in a hat trick. That would definitely send a signal to Brendan Rodgers. Should he still be the manager of Leicester by October 1?
What about Awoni? I thought he's been struggling with Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, but he's got 2 goals.
Yeah, 2 goals in how many games?
Yeah, but
in a team that is struggling as well.
Yeah, exactly. So, and moreover, he's still getting playing time. It's one thing to be getting playing time and getting, relatively 2 goals, but it's another thing for you not to even get any playing time at all. So.
Any addition to that, Daniel?
Well, I think, yes, I think it's Iheanacho, but then I wouldn't follow the line of, yes, of course, when the coach is not giving you a playing time. Remember towards last season, this guy was scoring, week in, week out. Now, what happens? If your coach doesn't believe much in you, of course, it will affect your own personal, your game yourself. And that's exactly, I think, what is affecting Kelechi Iheanacho. But prior to the last match he played, he still managed to score a goal. So I think it all depends on the coach. And I'm hopeful. Rodgers will leave that club so that he will have a clean time, honestly.
Is it Rodgers' fault?
Yes, I want to believe it's Rodgers' fault.
Really?
Look at, yes, you have the formation. Look at towards ending of last season. He has a formation whereby he used Vardy and Kelechi Iheanacho up front as the 2 striker, right? And it was working pretty well, and Iheanacho was banging in the goals. And suddenly, it switched back, only Vardy in the front, and
But this man wasn't supported in transfer markets.
No, I'm not saying, yes, but even as that, where it wasn't supported in the transfer window, but then it still has quality players. I think the only problem I have with that team is the goalkeeper award. When you let Shoemaker to leave and you couldn't have an adequate replacement, that goalkeeper has caused them more damages than even the players. Look at those chip goals. Go look at those chip goals. He do chip in. If you have a Shoemaker there, Leicester City have quality players, irrespective of, yes, there was not much money to bring in player. You lost Fofana, but still, they still have quality players to have just only 1 point out of 8 matches. No.
Okay.
It has to do with the coach.
We have to leave. Daniel wants to bring Rodgers
what you wish for. If Rodgers gets sacked,
and another manager comes on board,
what if that manager will not even
doesn't get players? We have to leave it. We have to leave. Thank you very much for being a part of the show today. Thank you for being here, Daniel.
It's a pleasure.
Ayobami Animasahun, thank you for being here. My name is Blessing Fowowe. We'll be back here tomorrow at 7:30 with Sports Bang. Au revoir.
Is it?